The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2025 winter edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my good friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. You know, in every episode, we dive into captivating conversations with Syracuse's movers and shakers, like business owners, top executives, entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, and a bunch more. So brace yourself for jaw-dropping business insights and success stories. The Local Show shines a light on the business visionaries, turning Syracuse into the ultimate hub for work, life, and new opportunities. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studios, sponsored by Victory in Motion. It's the home of knee repair, not knee replacement. And you can see us on YouTube. Just look up Zoe Advertising, and you can see the famous Steve Roberts right there in all of his glory. So there you go, Steve. There's your big intro.
Wow.
Tell everybody what you're all about.
Jaw dropping. I think the only thing jaw dropping is, did those guys just say that? I can't believe they just said, can you say that? I think that's as close to jaw dropping as we get. But
yeah.
You know, I don't know. And can it be early springtime? Does it have to be winter? Did you have to go to winter? I mean, come on, we're getting there. Yeah.
So
I think it's the early spring edition of the Local Show.
Sure. Yeah, it's springtime. St. Jude Big Gala is this evening. I'll be going to that. And it's also, believe it or not, my birthday. So it's a birthday weekend.
Oh, there you go.
So,
well, happy,
we'll see what that's all about.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you feel older?
Yes.
Okay.
There's no doubt. Yes, I'm an.
Yeah, the Italians, you hold up better than some of us Menegods.
Yeah, right. Well, I look good, and I feel awful. So that's, what else could you ask for?
Both. Hello, Charles Page.
Hi,
How
Charles.
are you, Charles?
How are you?
Excellent, thanks.
Do you go by Charles or Chuck or Chucky or
actually
Chaz?
Many people ask me that same question, and yes, Charles generally, but some people call me Chuck, some people call me Charlie.
When you were 5, did they call you Charles?
No, actually, my nickname growing up was Eddie.
Okay, that makes total sense.
My middle name Edward.
There you go.
Because my grandfather and my father were both Charles as well.
See, that'll happen.
Well, I'm 6'6", and there was another Steve in the neighborhood that was a little older.
Yes.
I was little Stevie.
Oh, yeah. I see the irony, right?
The irony. So I understand, Eddie. Charles.
Right. As I got older, Eddie became Ed.
Yeah,
so
right.
Most people, from high school, my sister called me Ed.
So did little Eddie like to fix things?
Probably break things more than fix things then.
Well, we'll dive into what, AceTrust Solutions is, but tell me, are you a Syracuse native? Are you from here?
I grew up in Morrisville.
In Morrisville, okay. Well, it's not too far away.
No, not far at all.
Yeah, great. And did you go to school for anything in particular? Did you have another career before you started this business?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I had gone to school for chemistry, actually, in Morrisville. Went on to University at Buffalo studying chemistry.
Right.
I did segue for a short time into the pre-law program at UB.
Wow. Now, how does chemistry relate to law?
I don't know. I just have an active mind.
Well, you can get an undergraduate degree in anything and then go to law school.
Yeah.
So, that's true.
Yeah,
well, in fact, Joe Stanley did that. We can talk to him when he comes on. You can tell him because he was in ESF first.
Okay, that's right.
So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. But then once I started working, I was working in the food industry. I spent 20-ish years in the food industry.
Did you? Putting red dye number 5 in and all that? Yeah.
Not in my work, but
right.
But
okay.
Yeah.
And then why the transition over to home improvements and construction?
Well, the reality is I have just always had a natural inclination for using my hands.
Okay.
And as life happens...
Well, you could have been a masseuse. I mean, but...
Right, but I like to see something created.
Okay,
right?
yes, gotcha.
And making things and transforming a space into a finished product, a finished usable space.
There is a certain satisfaction with that, isn't there?
I do. I like it.
Do you do any small time stuff like build a birdhouse or a bookcase or furniture?
If my wife asks, I'll do something small like that. Yeah.
I wanted to do that in my retirement years. I wanted to have one of those beautiful wood shops. A friend of mine his father had that, and boy, that was huge. And he was an engineer, but boy, did he have tools, like unbelievable. But I mean, I imagine your tools are a little bit bigger. So what does AceTrust Solutions do for people, for consumers?
Well, I'm a contractor, and I'm doing primarily kitchens, bathrooms, and basements at this time. There are times, you mentioned smaller projects. There are times when a customer will call me and say, I need a kitchen faucet installed. Can you install it? Absolutely. Although I focus on the bigger projects, there are times when I'll do the smaller projects.
Right, but you kind of started, you were doing sort of handyman-ish services for several years.
That's true.
And then we talked before, and it kind of morphed into, geez, I really am good, and I like kitchens, and I like bathrooms. So it kind of, that maybe became your sweet spot?
That's true, yeah. But to that point, just last week I had a customer call me and said, I have a plumber that wasn't able to fix my leak in my drain. Can you come over and take care of it? And I said, okay, I'll come over and take a look at it. And literally within 2 hours, I had the drain fixed.
Nice. When you transitioned from the chemistry world into this world, did you have a mentor? Did somebody teach you these things, the tricks of the trade, so to speak?
Self-taught.
Really? Okay.
I'm good at that.
Yeah.
Learning the hard way.
Yeah.
Right. When people do a kitchen, what's the biggest mistake they make?
Oh boy,
I'm asking because Tom put a kitchen in here a few years ago.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't see a lot of those mistakes.
Okay.
I work with designers. Designers work directly with the customer, and by the time I'm seeing it, it's already.
Okay, so it's not you make it up as you go. This is well laid out, and you pull the trigger and finish it and do it. Okay.
Exactly. You're right.
Okay. Do you typically act as your own general contractor? So you're taking the project from the beginning to the end. You're not like stepping in and just doing the counters or just doing the cabinetry.
Right. I'm doing everything unless it's a really big project, then I'll bring in some subcontractors to help me. But for the most part, I'm doing all the plumbing, all the electric, all the flooring.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Installing the cabinets. The pieces that I don't generally do, like a kitchen countertop, my designer has contacts for countertops. And they'll come in and they'll install the countertops, and then I turn around and just make the plumbing connections, for example, related to that kitchen.
How are you with crown molding?
It's a challenge.
Yeah. That's tough, huh? Right. I had hired a contractor to do some crown molding, and he just butchered it. Yeah. He put seams all in there, and it's pulling away from the ceiling now. And it's only a year old.
Right.
And now I have to get that redone.
But take crown molding for an example. I know some really good finished carpenters that I can connect with to install crown if it's a big project.
So if someone had, they've been looking at the bathroom all winter and saying, we got to change this, or it's time to, let's do our kitchen. Maybe we do it in stages. Maybe they could have a conversation with you and share some ideas and get pricing and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so if you're looking to have any of that done, talk to our friend Charles. Some people call him Little Eddie. But Charles, 401 0052 401 0052 AceTrustSolutions.com.